Hey there, this is Matt with PokerStop.com. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through poker hand rankings, more specifically Texas Hold'em hand rankings. We're going to be actually using our example on PokerStop.com at /Texas Hold'em Poker /hand rankings poker school. In this video, I'm going to be walking through what hands beat what, and in the case that you're at showdown with two of the same hands, which one will outrank the other one. So we're going to actually get started from top to bottom, the absolute best hand, and we'll finish off with the absolute worst hand. So in the case of Texas Hold'em Poker, the absolute best hand is the Royal Flush. Royal Flush is 5 cards all in a row, straight, all of one suit. So in our example, we have a Royal Flush of spades. So it's Ace, King, Queen, Jack, and 10. Now the Royal Flush beats a straight flush. A straight flush is basically a Royal Flush, just not an Ace High Royal Flush. So it's 5 cards in a straight, all of one suit. In our example, we have an 8 high straight flush. So it's a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of diamonds. In the scenario that you have 2 straight flushes at showdown, it's generally going to be the highest. It is going to be the highest straight flush that wins. So if you flip over this 8 high straight flush of diamonds, and your opponent flips over a 9 high straight flush of clubs, your opponent will win. 9 high will beat an 8 high straight flush. So next is the 4 of a kind. Straight flush beats 4 of a kind. And in our example here, you see that we have 4 8s, 1 of each suit, and then it's followed by a kicker. These are also referred to as quads. In the case that you go to showdown and someone has, quads up against your quads, the highest 4 of a kind will win. So again, we have a 4 of a kind of 8s, and your opponent flips over a 4 of a kind of 9s. The 4 of a kind of 9s would win. Okay, so next, 4 of a kind beats full house. Full house is where it gets a little confusing. What type of full house beats what. So in this case, we have kings full. So we have 3 kings over 2 8s. A full house is going to be 3 of one, 3 of one card, 2 of another. So we have kings full of 8s. Now this type of hand is where people get confused, because if you have 3 8s and 2 kings, people wonder which beats which. We actually have this highlighted below. 3 kings and 2 8s will beat 3 8s and 2 kings. So where people might get confused is you'll have a hand like, say, you might have 3 10s over, we'll say, 2 aces. So 10s full of aces, and then we have kings full of 8s. People get confused because one hand has aces in it and the other one has kings. It's going to be the hand that has the most high cards. So I'll actually go ahead and bring up, I guess, kind of Word, just to kind of show you, so you can actually see it. So people get confused because you see a hand like this, and then someone else might have a hand that looks like this. This hand here, the 3 cards, needs to beat this other 3 cards. This is what we need to be looking at. So, excuse me, make that a little bit different here. So another example, say we have and we got In this case here, 6 is full would beat 4 is full. So this would actually be the losing hand. And this is where people get tripped up. So hopefully that clears it up a little bit. Now, a full house is a better hand than just a flush. And a flush is different from that of a straight flush, as it is just 5 cards of any suit. It doesn't matter what order they're in, what 5 cards you hold, as long as they're all of one suit. So in this case here, we have a Jack High flush, which is a Jack 9, 7, 5 deuce. Now, if someone else had, say, a Queen High flush, it works the same way as a straight flush. A higher ranking flush will beat this. So if someone else had a, say, a Queen 8, 5, 4 deuce, it would be a better hand because it's a Queen High flush. Now, a flush is better than a straight. A straight, of course, is 5 cards all in a row. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 10 Jack, Queen, King, Ace. And they can all be of different suits. So here you see we got 1 of each suit. We got 3 spades, 4 diamonds, 5 of hearts, 6 of spades, and then 7 of clubs. Doesn't matter. Okay, so now what we got here is 3 of a kind, which is worse than a straight, better than 2 pair. The name speaks for itself. It's also known as trips, and it's just 3 cards. So in this, in our example here, we have 3 queens. It can be 3 kings, it can be 3 deuces, 3 sevens, doesn't matter. 3 of a kind, of course, will beat another 3 of a kind if it's higher. So 3 queens would be beaten by 3 kings. Now 3 of a kind is better than 2 pair. Again, self-explanatory. 2 pair will be basically 2 pairs, two pairs of cards. Anyway, so we have, for example, here we have 2 jacks and then 2 eights. Now, if you were to go to showdown and someone else would have 2 pair, the better 2 pair would win. So let's say we had jacks and eights with a 9 kicker, and someone else had say queens and eights, and it doesn't matter if the kicker, the queens would beat the jacks. Now, in the case that someone has, say, it would be the same too if someone had, say, jacks and a pair of tens. The jacks and tens would be a higher 2 pair than jacks and eights. Now, in the rare situation that you go to showdown and someone else has the same 2 pair as you do, then it comes down to the kicker, which would be the 9 here. If we went to showdown and our opponent had the other 2 jacks, the other 2 eights, their kicker would determine whether or not they won. If it was a 9, we would split the pot. If it was lower than a 9, we'd win the pot, and if it was bigger than a 9, then they'd win the pot. So 2 pair beats 1 pair. 1 pair is the second to last worst or best hand. I guess it depends on how you look at it. It's just slightly better than having nothing. So 1 pair, just in our example, we have a pair of aces. At showdown, if someone else had the same pair, then it would come down to kickers. And I say kickers because, of course, it would, you can use 1 kicker and win the hand, or you might have to use all 3. So if we were to go to showdown and someone else had a pair of aces, the club and heart, then we would have a 9 high kicker. If they have a 9 high kicker, then we move to the 8. If our 8 was better, we'd win. If it was not better, we'd lose. And if it was the same, then we'd go to the 6. So I'll go through that once more just to make sure it makes sense. If we were to go down to showdown and with another opponent and they had a pair of aces and we had a pair of aces, we would first look at the 9. If our 9 was better than their highest kicker, we'd win. If it was lower, we'd lose. If it was the same, we'd move on to the 8, and we would do the same thing. Higher we win, lower we lose. If it was the same, we move on to the 6. If it was the same, we'd split the pot. If we had a higher, kicker, then we'd win. If it was lower, we'd lose. At Showdown, if someone else had a better pair, there's obviously not a better one pair than aces, but if someone was good at Showdown with a pair of kings, we'd beat them. Of course, if we had a worse one pair than aces and someone else had a better pair, then we'd lose. So pretty straightforward. High card, just as it sounds, it's when you don't actually have a made poker hand, and you just have basically a high card. High card can be anything. In our example here, a high card is a king, but it can be, a high card can be, a 5, an 8. It can be anything. When you go down to Showdown with a high card, obviously any made hand beats us. In the case where we have a high hand or high card hand and our opponent has a high card hand, then the highest card wins. So if someone here showed up with an ace high, ace high hand, they would win. If they showed up with queen high, they would win. So that's about it. That's the hand rankings in a nutshell, as well as what beats what at Showdown. If you have any questions, be sure to let us know, or you can visit this page here. I'll actually post a link, and you can check it out for yourself. So once again, I hope this helps, and thank you for watching. This is Matt for PokerStop.com.